for Law in Our Life. It's time to talk to Hyunju. Hello, Hyunju. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm enjoying this spring weather. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
It's been really nice. Now, we're going to talk about something today. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it's not so nice. It probably is nice when people decide to do it, right?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Today, I'd like to talk about what you should do if you do not want to continue your marriage.
Divorce.
Yes.
The D word.
Yep.
All right. Tell us about it.
So if you decided that you do not want to continue your marriage, what can you do? You can get divorced by reaching an agreement with your spouse to end your marriage. It's called the Uncontested Divorce. Or if you cannot reach an agreement with your spouse, you can file a lawsuit against him or her, and it's called Contested Divorce.
I see. All right. Well, let's start with the first one. It sounded much more simple.
Yep. So once you and your spouse agree to get divorced, you can choose the uncontested divorce. It's quite simple. You can find the filing form online or at the information desk at the family court. So you can just fill it out.
Okay.
Before you fill it out, you only need to decide on custody of children if you have any minor children and the child support.
Oh, okay. I see. What about all the stuff that you share?
So in uncontested divorce, the judge will not ask or review the division of property parts. So it's totally outside of the courtroom, and you guys can make any decision you want. So if you are not sure how to divide the property yet, you can first get divorced by filing an uncontested divorce form, and then you can file a division of property lawsuit, which is a separate lawsuit, within 2 years after you got divorced.
I see. All right. So even if we made a deal, if you and I were getting divorced, which is weird because we're not married, but if we were married and getting divorced, we could make a deal. Okay, let's get divorced. This marriage is terrible. But then after a year, if you were like, hey, you said you'd give me the car, you still have it. Then you could sue me for the car.
Yeah. So if you didn't decide about the property division at the time you got divorced, you can later pursue a separate lawsuit to get the property division.
All right. Fair enough.
Yep.
Now, what if there was some ill treatment in the marriage?
Yes. So if you were badly treated by your spouse, you can request damage or reward for your suffering as a separate lawsuit or along with the property division.
Okay. So what do we mean badly treated? Like, obviously
verbal
abuse.
Yes, verbal or physical abuse.
Oh, really? Verbal abuse too?
Depending on the level of the verbal abuse.
Okay. All right.
But usually it comes along with the physical abuse.
Right, I would think so, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so physical abuse, but it's not like suffering like, you made me do all the vacuuming.
Yeah, it will be very hard to get damage for that.
All right, fair enough. So it sounds pretty simple.
Yep. The process of uncontested divorce is not complex. So you can just fill it out, the form, and sign the form and submit it to the court together. You should be there together. And then the court will call you back after 3 months if you have children. Or after just 1 month if you do not have any children.
All right. If you got no kids, that's quick.
Yep. So in the meantime, if you have minor children, you will need to attend the child education program at the family court and get the certification that you completed the course.
Okay.
So usually it's a 2-hour-long video session, and I heard that they do not provide foreign language video.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, it's sad, but it's mandatory step before getting divorced.
Okay.
So even though the expats, the foreigner, should attend it and submit the certificate at the court.
Wow. I'm going to have to ask some people how that video was, because I'm sure they've had to watch it. So
Yeah.
I'm curious about it. So there's this 1 month or 3 month kind of cool down period.
Yes.
Okay?
So after that 1 month or 3 months chilling period, the judge will ask the couple to come in and confirm your intent of divorce.
Okay.
So if both of you appear at the court on the hearing date and express the intent to get divorced, the judge will confirm and grant a divorce decree.
Okay.
But if one does not show up on the date, the submission of the uncontested divorce form will lose effect.
Oh.
So you will need to file another or pursue a contested divorce that time.
Oh boy, that's going to get complicated.
Yeah.
Let's assume we both show up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume we both say, yeah, we still think this thing should be over. Then how do things go?
Then the procedure is almost ending. You can register that court decision at the local dong office, something like 주민 center. You can find the divorce registration form at city 구읍면 office.
Mm-hmm.
Please be aware that if you fail to register your divorce within 3 months after the confirmation at the court,
okay.
your divorce will not take effect at all.
Oh no!
Yeah.
All right. So just to be clear,
Yep.
if we don't have kids,
Mm-hmm.
we go fill out the paperwork, we submit it.
Yep.
A month later, we get in front of the judge.
Mm-hmm.
We say we both want to be divorced. He gives us the decree.
Yes.
Then within 3 months, we have to submit that
At the gu office.
at the GU office.
Yes.
Okay. And then it's over.
Yes.
Oh, phew. All right. We're free. Now, what if there's some other problems?
So if you agree on the divorce itself but cannot agree on other things like child custody, child support, or property division,
Mm-hmm.
you may want to consider contested divorce.
Okay.
Contested divorce is not only for people who cannot reach agreement on whether to get divorced, but also people who cannot agree on the property division, child support, and child custody.
Mm-hmm.
So to pursue contested divorce, you need to establish the legitimate grounds for divorce.
Oh, okay.
So in Korea, we only recognize like 3 criteria for contested divorce.
Mm-hmm.
For example, those are the cheating of one spouse,
All right.
maltreatment by in-laws, maltreatment by spouse to myself or my parents,
Okay.
malicious abandonment by the spouse,
Mm-hmm.
or when the whereabouts about the spouse is not known for 3 years.
Okay.
And there is the last one. It's more like very broad one.
Yeah.
Some serious issues that makes it impossible to maintain marriage.
Okay.
So basically, under the last category, some serious issues that makes it impossible to maintain marriage, many conflicts or many problems can be embraced, such as physical berber or mental abuse or gambling addicts,
Yeah.
etc.
All right. I'm curious why the abandonment has to be 3 years. That seems really long.
Yeah, it's
Like if my wife disappeared for a month and didn't tell me, I'd be thinking about getting a lawyer.
yeah. Then you can argue that it can fall under the last category.
Okay. All right.
So,
Well, phew.
yeah.
Okay. What about kids?
So regarding who will raise the kids, the court will consider various factors. The relationship between the kids and the parents, health issues, education, financial capacity, children's preference, best interest of children, environments, and so on.
Okay.
A parent who will raise the child can claim the expense for children, and the court has child support expense calculation chart for reference. The expense varies depending on the children's age, financial capacity of the parents, and other special factors.
Okay.
Also, the parents can request increase of custody and expenses in the future if the circumstances change.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing is that even though you do not make any money, you do not have a job, it does not excuse you from your responsibility as parents.
Mm-hmm.
So you will need to anyway contribute at least a minimum of child support, even though you do not work.
Okay. No deadbeats. Got it.
Yeah.
What's next?
So we have property division issues.
Oh, yes. All the stuff.
Yep.
Who gets the TV?
Yeah, it's a critical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you were at a stay-at-home mom taking care of children and did not make money with a job, you may be entitled to almost half of the property that you and your spouse accumulated after marriage in case of marriage longer than 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always that, but there's high probability that you can be qualified for like half of the property.
Okay.
The marital property under division will be only the property accumulated after the marriage.
Right. So you can't marry someone rich and then leave with all their money.
No.
Okay.
So like if, for example, if the house you were living in was the house that your husband owned before marriage, it is his personal property, which is not the subject of property division.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see.
So to decide on the appropriate portion of each spouse for their property division, the judge will look into each spouse's contribution, such as like their income, their role as taking care of children, or whether they make smart investment, etc.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. Is that it? Are we done?
There are some more.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I have time next week.
Oh, next week. We're going to talk some more?
Yes.
All right.
Next week, I'd like to talk a bit more about divorce. Like, what if you do not want to get divorced? Or how can you defend your marriage?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also the effect of divorce on expats' legal status in Korea.
I see. I don't know, that one where you said defend your marriage. I mean, if your partner says they want to get divorced, wouldn't that make you want to get divorced?
Sometimes there are people who really want to maintain their marriage.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I don't know how one person could want out and the other person is like, no, this is good. But I guess we'll talk about that next week. Thank you so much for coming in today, Gwangju.
Thank you for having me.